3 years ago, the accident took my legs, my independence, and nearly my will to live. But it gave me him in a way I never expected. First, thank you to my incredible subscribers. Your support lets me tell stories that dig into the messy, raw corners of life. This one's complicated. Stick with me. The doctor said I was lucky. Lucky the semi-truck didn't crush me completely. Lucky my spine wasn't severed. Lucky my son Logan wasn't in the car with me that night. Lucky, they said. Funny word for a woman who can't walk more than 10 steps without her legs screaming. Our little Ohio house used to feel too big when Logan was at school. Now it feels too small. He's everywhere. Cooking meals, adjusting my pillows, lifting me into the shower when my muscles give out. My boy, my man, because that's the thing no one warns you about when you have a kid at 16. One day they grow up. Really up. Logan was always tall, but at 19 he's broad. Works construction, so his hands are rough. His voice is deep in his eyes. God, his eyes just like his father's. The one who left me the second the pregnancy test turned pink. Mom. I jump. Logan stands in the doorway holding a bowl of soup. You didn't eat lunch. I wasn't hungry. You never are. He sets the bowl on my nightstand, frowning. Your leg spat today. I don't answer. He knows. He always knows. Without asking, he sits on the edge of my bed and rolls up my sweatpants. My breath hitches. The scars are ugly, twisted skin, jagged lines from the surgeries. Jay's fingers hover. Can I? I nod. The first touch is clinical, kneading the stiff muscles around my knee. But then his thumb finds a knot near my inner thigh, and I bite my lip. You're tense, he murmurs. You have no idea. He carefully adjusted my blanket to make sure I was comfortable. His touch full of care. Not enough to be improper, but enough that my pulse kicks. It's just the heat of his skin, I tell myself. The relief of the pain melting away. But when his fingertips brush the edge of my shorts, I stop breathing. Logan stops, too. For one heartbeat, too. Neither of us moves. Then he clears his throat and pulls my pant leg down. Better? No. Yes. Thanks, baby. He hesitates like he wants to say more. Instead, he takes the soup bowl and leaves. I stare at the ceiling, replaying those seconds when his touch almost slipped too far. And for the first time in years, I feel something other than pain, something dangerous. The second time he touched me, I knew it wasn't just about my legs anymore. Morning light spilled through the curtains, too bright, too cheerful for the storm inside my head. I hadn't slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt Logan's hands on me. Warm callus lingering. I told myself it was nothing. A son helping his mother, a caretaker easing pain. But the way my skin burned under his touch, that wasn't pain. The creak of Logan's door down the hall snapped me back to reality. I quickly adjusted the blanket over my lap as if he could see the thoughts racing through my mind. Footsteps. Then his shadow filled my doorway. You're up early, he said, voice rough with sleep. He was shirtless, sweatpants slung low on his hips or a tattoo curled over his ribs, something he'd gotten last year without asking me. I forced my eyes away. Couldn't sleep. Lex again. No, you, I nodded. Logan sighed and walked in, sitting beside me like he had the night before. Without asking, he pulled the blanket back and placed his hands on my bare calf. I flinched. Sorry, he muttered. Cold hands. But it wasn't the temperature that made me tense. It was the way his fingers pressed into my skin, slow and deliberate, like he was memorizing the shape of me. "You're tight everywhere," he murmured. I swallowed hard. Last night, I could pretend it was an accident. But now, in the daylight, there was no denying how he massaged the tightness in my muscles carefully, focusing only on relieving the pain. How his palm slid up the back of my thigh. "Allegan, relax." His voice was deeper than usual. "You need to relax. Let your body rest." I wasn't fighting the massage. I was fighting this. The way my body reacted to him. The way my breath hitched when his fingertips grazed the edge of my shorts. The way my stomach tightened when I caught him looking at me, not like a son looks at his mother, like a man looks at a woman. My knock at the front door shattered the moment. Logan jerked back. "You expecting someone?" "No." He stood, muscles flexing as he stretched. "I'll get it." I exhaled shaky, my skin still tingled where he touched me. Voices carried from the living room. Mrs. Whitmore, our nosy neighbor, asking if we needed anything from the store. A Logan's polite refusal, the door closing. When he returned, his expression was unreadable. "Think she suspects?" he asked. My heart stopped. "Suspects what?" He smirked. "That we never paid her back for the casserole dish she brought last month." I forced a laugh, but my hands trembled because for a second I thought he meant us. That night, rain lashed against the windows. The storm knocked out the power, plunging the house into darkness. Logan lit candles, their flickering glow painting shadows across his face. He sat beside me on the couch close enough that I could feel the heat radiating off him. "You cold?" he asked. "No, liar." He draped a blanket over us anyway. Our legs brushed beneath it. Neither of us moved away. The wind held outside. A tree branch scraped against the roof like fingernails. Then his hand found mine. Not an accident, not a casual touch. His fingers laced through mine rough and sure. I should have pulled away. I didn't. In the candle light, his eyes looked black. A warning, a question, a plea. The electricity came back on with a sudden hum, flooding the room with light. We sprang apart like we'd been burned, but the current between us that didn't disappear. One kiss, that's all it took to break us and remake us into something we weren't supposed to be. The power outage changed everything. And for 3 days after that night on the couch, Logan and I moved around each other like strangers. Polite, careful, hungry. I caught him staring at my mouth when I spoke. His hands lingered when he helped me stand. Once I turned too fast and found him inhaling the scent of my hair where it had brushed his shoulder. We were a lit fuse and then the explosion. It happened on a Tuesday. Logan had just gotten home from work, smelling like sweat and summer heat. He kicked off his boots, his white t-shirt clinging to his chest where he'd sweated through it. "You okay?" he asked, nodding at my stiff posture on the couch. "Just sore?" I forced a smile. "Long day." Without a word, he walked over and lifted my legs onto his lap. And my breath caught as his fingers dug into my calf. "You worked too hard," he muttered, says the boy who rebuilt our porch ramp alone when the insurance refused to cover it. The man who carried me upstairs every night because my bedroom was on the 2nd floor. His thumb pressed into a knot near my knee, and I bit back a moan. His voice was rough. "Just let me take care of you." But this wasn't care. This was want. I could see it in the way his jaw tightened when my skirt rode up. Feel it in the tremor of his fingers as they slid higher. When his hand reached my thigh, I grabbed his wrist. We froze. His pulse hammered against my fingers and then tell me to stop. A challenge. A plea. I should have said it. Should have shoved him away and called a therapist and pretended this never happened. But I didn't. I couldn't. So, I let go of his wrist. His kiss wasn't gentle. It was fire and teeth and 19 years of emotions finally finding release through understanding and care. His hands fisted in my hair as he dragged me against him. Oh, we shared a heartfelt embrace. Overwhelmed by gratitude and survival after everything we'd endured, like this was the only way we knew how to breathe. I gasped into him, my fingers digging into his shoulders. We can't. We already are. He nipped my lower lip, sending a shock straight between my legs. You feel that? That's us. And God help me. I did feel it. The hard press of him against my hip. Of the way my body arched toward him like a flower chasing the sun. This was wrong. So wrong. But when his tongue slid against mine, all I could think was more. We didn't make it to the bedroom. Logan pinned me to the couch, his hips grinding down as I clawed at his shirt. The fabric tore at the collar, but neither of us cared. Look at me, he growled. When I did, what I saw shattered me. This wasn't just lust in his eyes. It was love. The kind that breaks bones. The kind that leaves scars. Afterward, as we lay tangled in silence, reality crept in. Logan traced idle circles on my bare shoulder. You okay? No. Yes. He knew I was lying, just like I knew he wasn't sorry. But when he finally spoke again, his voice was so quiet, I almost missed it. I've wanted you since I was 15. My stomach dropped because that meant this wasn't an accident. It was an inevitability. Some silences are louder than words. Morning came too bright, too sharp. I woke before Logan. The weight of what we'd done pressing down on me like a physical thing. The sheets still smelled like him, like sweat and sawdust and something unmistakably male. My son, my strength, the person who stood by me when no one else did. God, what had we done? He found me in the kitchen staring blankly at the coffee maker. Hey, he murmured, voice rough with sleep. I couldn't look at him. Couldn't bear to see the tenderness in his eyes, of the tenderness that should never have been there. Mom, a hand on my shoulder. Warm, familiar, wrong. I flinched away. The hurt that flashed across his face cut deeper than any knife. We spent the day orbiting each other like distant planets. Him trying to catch my eye, his fingers brushing mine every time he passed me something. Me pulling away, building walls with every quiet thank you. And please pass the salt. By dinner, the tension was thick enough to choke on. You're punishing me, he finally said, pushing his plate away. I'm protecting us from what? From this? My voice broke. From the way people would look at us if they knew. From the shame that will eat us alive if we let this continue. His jaw tightened. I'm not ashamed. You will be. That night, I heard him pacing his room. The floorboards creaked under his weight. Each step echoing through the thin walls. Then silence. My door clicked open. Moonlight spilled across the bed as he stood there, shirtless, his chest rising and falling too fast. I can't pretend, he said horrorously. Not with you. My resolve crumbled because neither could I. We didn't speak as he crossed the room. Didn't need to. Every touch, every glance, every ragged breath said what words never could. This was our undoing, and we were diving in head first. 1 year later, the neighbors still talk about how close we are. Such a devoted son, Mrs. A. Calloway says at the grocery store, always taking such good care of his mother. I smile politely, adjusting the bracelet he gifted me. A reminder of our unbreakable bond as family on my left hand. The one nobody questions because single mothers don't remarry, do they? Jay's fingers laced through mine as we walked to the car. Nobody looks twice. Nobody knows. And that's exactly how we like.